This video was sponsored by the Ye Old Prop Shop. Stay tuned until the end of the video to find out how you can get your very own replica of famous signs from the Disney parks.
Whoa, I thought you were dead.
My death was greatly exaggerated. So, you're the punk I've heard about.
Is anyone else shocked, taken aback, flabbergasted, other synonyms, that the Finding Nemo submarine voyage is going to be reopening in winter, which, by the way, I think is hilarious. Disney originally had the sign say winter 2021, and now to just this winter, which should speak for itself. These subs I thought were doomed to die when the parks closed for COVID, but here they are, like a phoenix rising out of the ashes, potentially opening this year, most likely early next year in 2022. Now the subs, not just the Finding Nemo subs, but the submarine voyage attraction as a whole, has had a bit of a rocky history when it comes to the Disney parks. Not just Disneyland, but also over at the Magic Kingdom. And today I wanted to talk about that history and why it affects what we see going on with the subs today. How does this attraction manage to hang on year after year when the wait times are so long that nobody wants to ride it? Why are the wait times long? It's not because there's a ton of people online, it's because it takes forever to load and unload. This attraction has what is essentially a stranglehold on Tomorrowland ever since it opened, and I'm going to get to the bottom of it. Not literally though, the lagoon is drained right now, hopefully for a reopening in winter of this year.
Now it's time for the dedication of the Disneyland submarine fleet, and here's Walt Disney.
I'd like to introduce our honored guest, Admiral Charles C. Kirkpatrick of the United States Navy.
Thank you, Walt. I'm delighted to be here for this happy occasion.
Well, Admiral, as this seems to be a nautical affair, I think it'd be appropriate if you take over, sir.
I'd be most happy to do so, Walt. As a matter of fact, the Navy has been interested in some time in the proceedings that go here today, and we have considerable rooting interest in Disneyland's peacetime submarine fleet. Since the launching of the first nuclear-powered submarine, the Nautilus, the Navy also has been interested in a new concept. We call it the exploration of liquid space. Then, too, we believe that the underseas of the world have great potential for peace and for the benefit of all mankind.
And Mrs. Nelson, will you honor us by christening the first submarine?
Thank you, Mr. Disney.
I'll lead the way.
I christen thee Nautilus.
The submarine voyage opened in 1959, replacing the phantom boats that were there on opening day. Yes, you could take a boat out into the lagoon. They hardly ever worked though, so it shut down and the subs replaced it. Now, being on a track, the subs were easier to control and they didn't overheat 20 minutes, so it was already a marginal improvement over the phantom boats. In 1959, the voyage was supposed to give you a peek into the future of nuclear-powered submarines, and was one of the first attractions to open at the Disney park. Get this, you're gonna have a bit of a laugh here. As an e-ticket attraction. Yes, this ride was an e-ticket when it first opened. Is it still an e-ticket today? Up for debate. I would say maybe C. But it was an e-ticket, and believe it or not, it was actually very popular. Disney knows what the people want, and not just everyday people like you and I. No. Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev wanted to visit Disneyland in 1959, but was denied permission because it wouldn't look very good for the leader of the glorious Soviet Union to visit a glorious American theme park. Now, Khrushchev was disappointed, but not more disappointed than Walt Disney himself, who was excited to show the leader of the USSR his impressive Disneyland submarine fleet. Classic Walt Disney, though, trying to flex his theme park submarines on the leader of the Soviet Union. Speaking of the Soviet Union, the Cold War was one of the reasons why the subs were put in Tomorrowland. Atomic subs back in those days were seen as a way to explore the depths of the ocean in a cool, sleek, futuristic machine. And Walt, just like the Jungle Cruise, wanted to include live fish and sea creatures in the submarine voyage, but for the same reason, that was shot down. Instead, WED decided to go with figures and animatronics that would be suspended in the water of the lagoon, and as you can see, this would cause some difficulties down the road. The full fleet of submarines cost about $600,000 in 1959 money, which is just about $5.7 million today. But people loved the subs, and they quickly became an icon not just of Tomorrowland, but of the entire Disneyland park. They were so iconic, in fact, that when the Magic Kingdom was being constructed, they decided to put the submarine voyage in there as well. It opened a few weeks after the park did, this time in Fantasyland, because this time, instead of a nuclear-powered expedition to the deep trenches of the ocean, it was based on 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, which funnily enough was the main inspiration for the submarine voyage back in Anaheim. Skipping ahead to 1998, we come to what Disneyland fans know as the Paul Pressler Era. This is an era of budget cuts around the park. He is notorious for this, and you think Chapek is bad right now. No. Under Chapek, we've gotten things like Avengers Campus, which I still stand by as a fantastic land, and New Toontown. Under Paul Pressler, they almost closed down Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room because it cost too much to operate. So you can kind of understand why Imagineer Tony Baxter was a little nervous when Disney announced that they would be closing the submarine voyage for refurbishment. Tony wouldn't stand for this and decided to go about looking for a way to salvage the submarine voyage. Looking back, is this a good thing? Is this a good thing he wanted to save the subs so bad? I'm not too convinced, but I mean, good for him. He wanted to keep a classic Disneyland attraction alive. Originally, they were going to be rethemed to Atlantis: The Lost Empire, and a banner was even hung outside of the loading area across the lagoon, teasing this new and refreshing take on the submarines. But when that movie didn't really resonate with fans, Disney decided to put it on hold for even longer until Treasure Planet came out, and then that bombed at the box office, and it was just a massive mess. The subs were about to be closed forever until, in 2003, a small little indie flick released by Pixar called Finding Nemo hit theaters.
Mine.
Okay, don't make any sudden moves. Hop inside
Finding Nemo Submarine Voyage.
if you want to live.
Finding Nemo Submarine Voyage.
And how does that make me live?
And this movie wasn't just a smash hit, but it also happened to take place underwater, just like the submarine voyage. And so Tony Baxter and his team were given the go-ahead to retheme the submarine voyage into the Finding Nemo Submarine Voyage, the one that we're stuck with today. But why? Why are we stuck with it? Why can't we do anything about this accursed attraction sitting there in Tomorrowland collecting dust? It's a bit of a complicated answer. Just letting you know, this is all rumor and conjecture. Only the people who work as engineers at Disneyland, the maintenance workers and the Imagineers, know the true situation behind the lagoon. But legend has it that you cannot take out the subs. It's impossible. There's two theories that I've heard. One is flimsy at best, but the other one is very, very believable. The first one being that the lagoon is so entrenched in the very footprint of Tomorrowland that it would take a massive undertaking to either A, fill it in, or B, retheme it completely to a new attraction, bring in an entire new fleet of submarines, and breathe some new life into this deadbeat attraction. I've heard it would cost more to redo the entirety of Tomorrowland, open up a brand new e-ticket, than it would be just solely to shut down and fill in the Tomorrowland Lagoon. Another reason why it can't be so simply done is because Autopia, the car ride, runs on top of part of the show building and the lagoon. So not only would you have to shut down the subs, you would also have to shut down or reroute Autopia, which is also very expensive. That's two big Tomorrowland attractions down. Now we only have Star Tours, Buzz, and Space Mountain, and still no way to move those people. So why tear it all out when you can just do some patch fixes here and there and just keep the attraction on life support for as long as you possibly can until you absolutely can't run it anymore? I am 97.3% sure that that is the current plan. The second theory that I've heard that kind of goes hand in hand with the first, but I'm not quite sure is true, is that Disney gets paid by the city of Anaheim to keep the subs open. I don't know if it has to do with the water system or recycling or what. That's why I'm not really sure that this one is accurate, but I've heard it before, and Disney doesn't want to lose out on the little bit of extra money that they make for keeping these subs just wandering around the track day in and day out, slowly, methodically, menacingly. But there's another reason why I'm not so convinced that Disney wants to remove the subs just yet, and that's because the lagoon looks pretty darn cool. And honestly, I'm with them on this one. The lagoon adds so much kinetic energy to that Fantasyland Tomorrowland mix area that it's almost a perfect transition between the two lands. There's nothing quite like walking past the lagoon at night. You hear the Matterhorn winds and people screaming to your right, and you see the bubbles rising up to the surface under the blue glowing waters of the lagoon on your left. That is a sight to behold, everyone, and I'm not sure I'm ready to part ways with that beautiful view. I'm not sure if this is really connecting with y'all. It's just one of those really important Disneyland spaces. You know, just like the railroad, riding the railroad around, sitting in New Orleans Square around the fountain and watching as the Mark Twain and Columbia steam past. Sitting on the porch of the former Wizard of Braz store on Main Street and watching as people walk to and from where they're going. That is Disneyland to me. The attractions are fun, don't get me wrong, but experiencing the park is very important, and the view and the feeling of the subs just being there, the lagoon being full, that adds to the Disneyland magical feeling. Is this weird? Am I sounding unhinged to you all right now? Keep subs cause water look cool, essentially, is the simplest terms. When Disneyland reopened in April of 2021, the subs did not, and I think everyone thought that they were done for good. And as we know, the date just keeps changing and changing. Will the subs ever reopen? Yeah, I'm like 99% sure at this point that they will. Do I wish they would reopen? I could go either way on that. I'm never going to ride the subs ever again. I might just go to the cool viewing room that they have, but actually getting down in that metal tube built in the 50s and just with all those other people and the heat, just not fun. It's not a good time. But Lagoon, but Tron, I don't know. Let me ask you all this. What do you think of the Finding Nemo subs? No, the video's not wrapping up just yet, but I want to ask you, all of you, put down in the comments right now, what do you think of the Finding Nemo subs? Do you wish they would stay? Do you wish they would leave? If they did shut down, would you want a brand new attraction on a filled-in lagoon, or would you rather have a new water-based attraction, either on top or inside, sort of underwater where the subs used to be? I'm leaning toward the second one because, yeah, again, water nice. And I know it's possible because they did do the exact thing I'm talking about at Disney World's lagoon. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea closed, they filled in the entire lagoon and replaced it with Ariel's Grotto, now Ariel's Undersea Adventure, and the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. There are still references to the 20,000 Leagues attractions there, by the way. Hidden Nautilus, keep a lookout for it. There's actually 2. Maybe more. Okay, 3. The giant squid, Weathervane, that's a reference. There's probably more. I lose track of these things. There are remnants of the old submarine voyage there today, mostly just this one bass in the outdoor portion of the ride, but all of the figures were auctioned off to other buyers, and Richard Kraft, a famous Disney collector, has the sea monster, or had it. It may have been auctioned off at some point. Again, Finding Nemo stands on its own, not because it's a world-class attraction at a world-class theme park, but because it's one of the attractions that Walt Disney and his Imagineers are directly responsible that most people couldn't care less about. Even Autopia. I think Autopia is neat, but the submarine voyage, it's a remnant of the 50s. It probably should have stayed in the 60s or 70s. So that's why we cannot remove the submarine voyage from Disneyland, because either A, it's physically impossible to, or B, Disney has too much invested in the attraction to do anything about it, and they'd rather just shut it down every now and then, repair it, and open it back up. I mean, who knows? Maybe someday when New Tomorrowland opens up, we'll get a new take on the subs or something else entirely, but until then, we can just stay put, stay seated in our metal tube of death, and await further instructions. Any day now. Any day now. Hello everybody, and thank you so much for watching this video about the Finding Nemo submarine voyage at Disneyland. A quick little history refresher and a reason why we can't take it out or do anything about it. It's just sitting there in Tomorrowland for as long as it needs to be. If you enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate to leave a like and again, comment. What would you do with the lagoon if you were given ultimate power? You could do whatever you want with it. If you want more videos like this, please hit the subscribe button, and if you want more from me, head over to my Patreon in the description down below, and even just $1 a month will get you access to most of the perks. You can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Offhand Disney on all of those places, and a massive thank you to Ye Old Prop Shop for sponsoring this video. You can see their products right up there in the the top right, wow, look at that cup holder. If you're a Destiny fan, you definitely want to get this. They have all of the best signage and different pieces of art from video games in the Disney parks at their website. So please visit yeoldpropshop.com, tell them Dallin sent you, and enjoy all of their amazing replicas of Disney park signage and more stuff. Trust me, if you like gaming, you're a gamer. They're there. They have Breath of the Wild stuff, they have Gears of War stuff, but most importantly, they have Polynesian Village Resort stuff. So if you want any cool Disney Parks replicas, again, head over to yeoldpropshop.com. One more time, that's yeoldpropshop.com, and tell them I sent you. Thank you to the Yield Prop Shop for sponsoring this video. And again, a very big thank you for watching this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Not quite sure what it's going to be. The sub video is finally out, so for the first time in a long time, I have no purpose. Well, I'm going to go search for the topic, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.